I became involved with the CASA program in 1984 when the late Judge Richard Fitzgerald convened a group from Louisville to go to Washington, D.C. to learn about child welfare reforms and innovations. And at that meeting, we learned about the CASA program and we were all very excited about it. When we came back from DC, we realized that simultaneously a few other groups were looking into the CASA model and the CASA program.
I got involved with CASA 40 years ago. I came from working with Home of the Innocents, and I was involved in Junior League, also in NCJW. And I heard about CASA through NCJW, talked about it in the Junior League, and then got involved.
I had the good fortune to be very involved with the National Council of Jewish Women in Louisville, and when we saw this opportunity have to start a CASA in Louisville, I just jumped onto it because I had been on the board of Kentucky Youth Advocates, and I knew the really value of having volunteers one-on-one, so I just wanted to be part of something so significant.
It's hard to believe that 40 years ago I was the sitting judge on the child abuse docket here in Jefferson County. The situation at the time was tragic and it was intolerable. Judge Fitzgerald and I presented the concept to the local chapter of the National Council of Jewish Women, and they adopted the concept wholeheartedly.
So there was sort of a groundswell of interest in having best interest advocacy for children who had experienced abuse and neglect.
It was a grassroots effort. It was a few of us coming together and saying this needs to happen. Look at the other programs and what they're doing in the country, and we don't have that here. What can we do to make it happen?
One of the things that is prominent in my mind about CASA's beginning in Jefferson County is the absolute strong support of the court and how necessary that was in our success. And the late Judge Richard Fitzgerald, who helped bring the CASA program to Louisville, as well as Judges Tom McDonald and Henry Weber, who were so instrumental in building strong court support, which was the foundation for our success over the last 4 decades.
Community for CASA has been truly remarkable because people have stepped up to the plates. The judicial system, the judges were very helpful in getting started. So it was truly, I was coming from the National Council of Jewish Women, but there were a lot of other women's organizations, and it was just a combustion of all these different elements of the community who cared for children, having the opportunity to work collaboratively to improve the lives of so many children's and families' lives.
I remember certainly applying for the first director's job. Also, we had sort of a glorified broom closet in room 200 of the Hall of Justice. That was our office, and it was a very small space, but right next to what was then juvenile court. I remember going to the National CASA Conference in early May of 1985 and coming home, and midway through May, we were training our first class of volunteers. And we had 23 extraordinary people who signed up to be volunteers in that first class. 19 of them took cases, and then we had another about 20 volunteers who went through training in October of 1985. So when we got to the end of the first year of the program, we had about 40 volunteers, and they were really the pioneers laying the groundwork for the future success of our program.
We were very fortunate that women like Terry Bass and Marsha Weinstein were so involved and intimately involved in the foundation of our program. And we struck gold with Sally Ernie, who served as our first and founding executive director.
You know, a lot of people in the beginning said, oh, you're never going to get volunteers because that's such a tough job. And it is. But as I watched it over the years, I saw that the volunteers every single year came to the volunteer recognition dinner and they said, it is the toughest thing I do, but it's the best thing I've ever done. So now I knew that it would be here 40 years later.
My father served as a CASA volunteer for a number of years. I know for a fact that he made a dramatic difference in the lives of the 2 young boys that were brothers that he worked with for a long time. But I can tell you, they made a huge impact on him as well.
You know, we're in the business of hope, and part of that hope is that we don't need this system for children, and that families and children get what they need a lot earlier on, so they don't get to the point where they have to be involved with the court and in foster care. But of course this remains a reality today, and so I am very happy that the program continues to grow and thrive.
This year, 186 volunteers served 550 children. That's quite a bit of growth, but we still have a long way to go.
Well, I'm thrilled beyond words that CASA has had such a tremendous impact. For 40 years, we have served over 15,000 children. That is truly remarkable, and it just goes to show you the power of community and good people working together who care for children.
The changes and the differences that CASA has made in the lives of children over this 40 years is amazing to look back on. I mean, we have children now that I know would never have had the opportunity that they have had because of that one person that really believed in them. I think that has been key for now thousands of children in our community. That's precious.